Welcome to the Global Woman series, a summer of honest conversations with women navigating life between worlds. From grief and reinvention to finding love at 39, these are the real, raw, and wise stories of global women redefining home, identity, and connection. Over the next few weeks, you'll hear from inspiring voices who've lived the questions about belonging, purpose, relationships, and what it really means to choose this life abroad. I'm Amanda Maxime, and this is This Expat Life. I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of This Expat Life. Today, I'm joined in the digital studio by Anne Verhoeven. And despite her last Dutch name, Anne is from Australia and is currently somewhere between London and San Francisco, figuring out her next chapter. I found Anne on Instagram when I came across one of her posts sharing about the in-between space that she was in and still is in. That messy middle between two chapters of your life. We all know about it. And it instantly resonated with me. Living her global life, Anne shares about the real moments of that in-between space, about being audacious and taking big leaps, and about finding love at 39, which is also what we're all going to be talking about here today. Welcome, Anne.
Hi, Amanda. So nice to be here.
Yes. Where are you calling in from? Let's start there.
Sure, yeah. So I'm currently in Berlin. I'm in a co-working space. So yeah, I must say it's hilarious because it's so rainy. And this is their summer, and I was just in Greece, so it's a big contrast. But
Yeah, I saw that you were in Greece. Okay, I'm confused. You're in Berlin now. Last time that we spoke, you were in San Francisco. I knew you were in London as well. Where is your base at the moment?
that's a great question. My base is technically a small carry-on bag that I'm using at the moment. I'm living out of a suitcase. No, to be fair, like I'm traveling at the moment and I'm working remotely all around Europe. I started in Greece for a friend's wedding and then some vacation. I'm now in Berlin, visiting some friends, and then I'll be going to Switzerland next week. So it's a bit of a European summer
Oh, nice.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm technically still living in London. I'm still based in London.
Okay, great. So, can you share a little bit about your global journey? Because you are originally from Australia. I know you have Dutch family or ancestors somewhere as well. So, can you take us through that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So that's right. My last name is Dutch, and you pronounce it way better than I ever, which is shameful. So my grandfather came to Australia in like the 40s after World War II, and he fell in love with an Australian, and then the rest is history. So I'm just one quarter Dutch,
Oh, yeah.
but I feel very connected to my Dutch family. I have a lot of relatives there, and I'm really close to my cousins. So yeah, there's that Dutch element, but basically, I've been traveling the world since I was 19 years old. I first went on my first solo trip to Morocco and France and London when I was really young, like 19, in a summer holiday break. So summer for us is around Christmas time in
Yeah.
Australia. And I didn't realize, like when I got to Europe, that it would be the middle of winter. So I was very shocked. But since then, I was kind of traveling all of my 20s while I was at university. I worked quite a few jobs just to save money. Like I worked in restaurants and nannying and everything to do that. And then from the age of 29, 30, I ended up moving to London. And since then, so for my whole 30s, I was based in London. And then I was in Berlin and then back in London.
Hmm.
There's a lot of details there, which I won't bore you with to start with. But basically, it was a bit of back and forth due to like visa stuff.
Hmm.
But now I'm in London, but I'm looking to relocate. I've been looking to relocate to the Bay Area, to San Francisco.
Yeah, amazing. Can you share something about that in-between space that you are in now? Because, we're both in our mid late 30s and taking the leap to move abroad again, it's easy when you're like 20 and you don't have any responsibilities and life just feels easy. It's a little bit less common the older we get, and this is why your post resonated with me so much. You're like, okay, I'm ready for something new. Can you just share about, like, I don't know, why you want to take that leap, that messy middle that you find yourself in, and how you
Yeah,
do that?
no, absolutely. And just to um, let you know, like I turned 40 in March, so
Oh, okay.
I've crossed over.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I haven't like shared a lot about that, but I think there's a lot to be said. I can just tell you straight away that they've sold us a lie, like the patriarchy, whatever. Life only gets better, I believe. I'm living my best life. I feel the most me that I've ever been. I feel the best version of me. And I feel like it takes like every year as you get older, honestly, if you get to know yourself more and do the work, like you end up just the best version of yourself. So I'm like, I turned 40 in March. And honestly, sometimes I do think like mentally it freaks me out a little bit. But, basically, well, yeah, so right now I'm really in this space of enjoying every day as it comes and,
Mhm.
trying to be in the present moment because what I do have right now is like a great job, a great relationship, great friends, great family. Like I'm so lucky with so many things. I'm able to work remotely, so I can, be in Berlin at the moment visiting friends, or I could be anywhere really as long as I've got my laptop. So
Yeah.
I'm really, really lucky. But I think my situation is that I was looking to transfer to America with my job, and that for various reasons hasn't like it's still on hold, so
Hmm.
it's not happening yet, and I don't know what the next steps will be. I don't know when I'll be able to actually relocate to America yet as planned. So I did this kind of viral post that was quite popular back in February, and that was the first time I'd ever told my story to Instagram.
Hmm.
And I just said, hi, I'm Anne. Like, I'm about to take this big leap in life. I'm 39, I'm about to take a leap and, come with me. And that was back in February. And now it's what, like late July, or it's, it's many months on. And I
Hmm.
think the fact that I don't have an update for everyone, or I'm still in limbo in the messy middle, that can sometimes be quite challenging.
Hmm.
Um, you know, but I think at the moment, what I'm just trying to do is focus on the things that I'm grateful for and the things that I do have and the things that I can focus on, like, my fitness or creative projects or work, um, just keeping kind of grounded. Like I do have some life coaches, really
Great.
amazing coaches. Yeah, Luce and Hannah. Actually, one of them is my second cousin. She's Dutch.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad. Yeah. So that's really helpful to have that support in place, and
Yeah.
also to connect with people like yourself who might relate to your situation. Because I think as we find as we get older as women, if we're on a certain path and let's say we haven't ticked the boxes that
Yeah.
society, like we haven't got the husband and the house and the children or whatever it is that society has said in the past, like that's what you need to be complete.
Yeah.
Um, it can be quite isolating. So I
Yeah.
think like having as many conversations and friends and surrounding yourself with examples that are living a different kind of life can be really, really helpful.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I also don't have the husband. I do have the house, but the house is not making me happy. I don't have the kids either. I'm not sure if I want them. I think I do, but I'm not sure. And for a couple of years, I really struggled with it because I felt my family didn't understand me and I was being judged for what I wasn't having, even though not everything was my choice. And so I'm also surrounding myself more and more with people, especially through Instagram, that are living the same life. And I think this is why I loved your reel that went viral as well. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Did you
me,
is
yeah,
that like which video did you see that
the one that you
uh
just mentioned from February. Yeah,
okay.
and
Crazy.
like I have this dream of moving to the US as well, and I'm being very vocal about it at the moment. But even I've had dreams before where I moved abroad, and people are always like kind of accepting that. And this time they're like, "You still want to go abroad? You still want to go there? Like, when are you finally going to settle?" I'm like, I don't know, maybe never. Um, how has that been for you? Like, first of all, I'm curious, like, why did you want to relocate to the US? And did you find understanding for that in your family and your friend circle?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's weird because I've always been drawn to the US, specifically California.
Hmm.
Probably for the last 10 or 11 years. I first went there in 2014 and I just thought, wow, I feel so at home.
Yeah.
And my mum said to me, maybe it's because of the eucalyptus trees. Like you just, it's similar to Australia, like it's got the sun and the beach and that vibe. Maybe she just said, oh, maybe you're like just feeling at home for some reason, but I haven't been able to shake it for all that time. And
Yeah.
funnily enough, the German company I worked for, um, they got acquired by an American company. And so I've been working with Americans for the last 3 or so years, maybe longer, 3.5 years. And I can tell you, like, I find in general, I find Americans to be the warmest, loveliest, best people to work with. Some of my best friends are from the States now. I love working with them, but I also really appreciate them as people. I find them very um, caring and good communicators, and generally like yes people. Because I've lived in, like, having lived in Berlin for 3 years. No shade to Germans or Berliners, but let's just say that there's a culture of no. Like, their baseline is nine. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, no, that's not possible. And then you have to negotiate. Whereas Americans start with, how can we make this happen?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Like, I just like their attitude and their energy.
Yeah.
And so obviously, like, the work opportunity transfer coming up, like, that's through my job, but it just felt right to make that move. Because also for me, as you may have seen in some videos, like, living in London, living in Berlin, like, the gray, I'm kind of sick of the gray. It really
Yeah.
affects me.
I understand that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you understand, like, in terms of the that kind of health and lifestyle element. I think there's
Mhm.
something that I love about California, where there's a lot more of, like, people go hiking on the weekends for
Yeah.
fun rather than partying, and there's a bit more of, like, I just like the healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just this chapter in my life, but I'm appreciating more things, and it just feels like more of, like, a long term, like a solid, like a base, like a home based kind of move, rather than
Mhm.
like some crazy adventure. It actually almost feels like I'm going home. It's
Oh,
weird.
yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the same kind of pull, right?
I do. Yeah. And I had never been to the US until a year and a half ago. But by that time, I had already been participating in the green card lottery for 3 years. So I had never been to the US, but I had this pool like, okay, one day I'm gonna live there. And I think it all started when I watched TV shows OC when I was a teenager.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and back, in my 20s, just like you, I started traveling when I was 18. When I was 19, I went to South America on my own, traveled there for a year and a half. Every year I was gone. I spent 2.5 years in London. I
Oh,
worked in Brazil for 3 years. And so I spent a lot of time in Latin America. And then the last couple of years, that American dream became bigger again. And then ever since I have been there, so a year and a half ago, I've been there 6 times now, maybe.
oh, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I have this business event. I've joined a business program there, and so I have events 3 times a year, and I also went to visit friends. And I always add some holiday to it, so it's always very fun. And now every time that I'm there, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this next chapter of my life because I love Latin America, but I'm also a little bit tired of the chaos there and yeah, I'm generalizing, I know that, but I've spent so over 5.5 years in the continent, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready for the next step. And
Mm,
the US to me really feels like this, just like you're saying, the people are so friendly, they're so positive, they're optimistic. I'm all of that myself as well. And I find it very hard to be in the Netherlands where people are much more cynical, more rude, more pessimistic, and just complaining a lot. Again, I'm generalizing, but I feel
mm,
like in the US it's much friendlier. And I also really like the ambition there. I'm ready for that level of ambition, um,
mm,
which I'm not seeing in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, it's always like, oh, why are you working so hard? And, it's more about that work-life balance, which I can totally appreciate from a bigger perspective. But for this chapter of my life, I'm like in my ambition era, and I want to be in an environment that really unlocks that for me. And so I really feel this pull to the US or from the US, even though it's not, I think both of us are going up against the stream at the moment because most people want to leave the US. Um, but I think what I realized when I lived in Brazil, Bolsonaro was president there. A country is more than its leader. And politics are more than federal politics as well. So, we see all the news and everything that's going on there, and I'm not denying some of it, but there's more to the country than just the politics that we're reading about, I think. And I think my view is also a bit bigger than just the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I know it's controversial to say that, but um, my pull is very personal.
Hmm.
Um, and it's something that I can't deny. I've been
Yeah.
resisting it,
Yeah.
because my ego wanted Europe to be my thing. Europe, I've always been this European soul.
Yeah.
My master's is in European studies. What even is that?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even a thing. And I was like, I'm doing that. Um, and it's always been part of my identity. My
Yeah.
identity was, and my ego was tied to making London work or making Europe work. But it's almost like I'm letting go. I'm letting go, and I'm
Yeah.
allowing myself to flow in the direction I'm supposed to flow. It's towards there,
Yeah.
and I there's so many layers to that. But I really agree with you that on the ground, it can be a very different experience to what we see
Yeah.
in the news.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny that you have that thing tied to Europe. I had that with Latin America. I studied Latin American politics. So
What?
that has been part of my identity for so long, for 15 years. And now I'm ready for like the next continent, it feels. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally understand that. And I think also for me, like there are a few other things like personal side, like relationship, that, I have a boyfriend there. And then also my family being in Australia. I realized recently that when I moved to the Bay Area, there's a direct flight to Sydney. It's like
Mm.
13 or 14 hours. So I will be moving halfway home.
Oh, yeah.
Halfway back home. I've been living 24 hours from my parents for almost a decade, and that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So it's a move closer to home, and that feels really good.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me more about that pull. Like you felt that pull, but what was the moment that you decided, okay, I want to go for it, even though, it's a bit difficult at the moment, but that inner decision that you were like, yes, I'm gonna do it.
I'll tell you the exact moment. It's when my friend, he's going to hate me for this. My friend Chris in London sent me some links to a SAD light, which is like
Yeah.
seasonal affective disorder. I think I did a video about it. Basically, I was saying like, how is this okay that
Yeah.
you have to have a special light that gives you special vitamin D to help us? Like it's like a plant needs to be put under certain lights. Like I just thought this
Yeah.
is not right. This is not okay. I'm not okay. And it was kind of around that might have been like October, maybe last October last year. And basically at that point, I remember it was a combination of things, to be fair. Like there was also a lot of things happening in my personal life where the dating scene in London, I don't know what you've
We're
experienced.
we're gonna be talking about that, yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, it was basically like disaster after disaster,
Hmm.
of just these really unavailable men that would like love bomb me, then ghost me, like emotionally very immature men. Anyway, probably just bad luck. But basically I was just kind of saying, wow, what's happening? Like, what? And I felt like at this point late last year, I'd been trying to make, like in Mean Girls where they say, stop trying to make fetch happen. Like, I was trying to make London happen for
Yeah.
so many years. And I was like, yeah, London, I've got to keep going. I've got to keep pushing. I've got to keep making it work. And I was kind of holding on and clutching onto this vision when actually, if I just stepped back, I would realize, and I did realize that I needed to take this opportunity because the opportunity to move to the States had been on the table for a couple of years with my manager, um, and we'd always joked about it. Oh, maybe you should move here. I'm like, oh, I should be here. But I just didn't. I wasn't ready to give up on my London dream.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. And how did you feel when you decided, okay, I'm gonna go for it? And were you understood by your friends and family?
Let me tell you, there's a video which I don't think I've shared, and I'm dancing around my living room. The day that I pulled the trigger and said to my boss, let's do it, she said, okay, we're going to pull the trigger. I'm like, let's pull the trigger, like very American.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I physically was like bouncing around my living room. I was just so happy. I felt lighter. I felt this is it, this is right. And you know what? I actually withheld it from certain people for quite a while, like because people want to put you in a box, and people have certain ideas, and they want you to do what they want because they want, you know, I mean, I think it's when you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen, sometimes that can impact you. And I think I had this conviction inside of me where I didn't need others' approval.
Hmm.
And as my coach says, like, we've talked about like permission slips. Like, do you need a permission slip? And
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't need a permission slip from anyone. The people that I obviously kept close to me were my parents. They knew the whole time. They knew everything, and they were so supportive, and they were like my sounding board. And then a few close friends knew about it, but I definitely had people that I had to almost like break the news, and I had to like justify it, like have my long list of reasons why. And they would still like not agree, and they're still not really on board because I would be moving further away, or it's just not as convenient for them. So I think, yeah, not everyone's going to understand, but I think you almost have to give yourself the permission slip.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that your coach said that because I am also a coach and I've also
Yeah.
often said it as well. And I almost feel sometimes like I am the one that needs to give permission so that they can do what their heart has been telling them to do for all along. It's funny how
Yeah.
that works. I think we attach so much meaning to what other people think of us or what we are supposed to do. And when we're deviating from the norm, we almost have to justify that we need to be damn sure of our decision before we can
Yeah.
move. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And I also think it's a difference between people socialized and raised as a woman versus men, because I
Yeah.
know things are changing, but I've just noticed in my life, I've realized as I've gotten older that there's a lot of guys out there that don't ask permission, and they have this real inner confidence. They have this inner like audacity,
Yeah.
as we like to say. And sometimes I say, oh, I have the audacity of a guy. Like, let me just do something and, not it's not that I'm not going to care what people think, but I have this like confidence in my decision, and I don't need to, oh, what do you think? Oh, what do you think?
Yeah.
I'll ask everyone. Like,
Mm.
and I used to do that a lot when I was younger, like in my 20s and even in my 30s. I was always like, if something happened in my life, I'd be voice noting or messaging like 10 friends to get everyone's opinion. Um, and it's just like as you get older, I think for me anyway, my inner voice and my inner knowing has gotten a lot stronger.
Yeah, nice. And with this big leap going to the US, did you feel like, okay, now I have to adopt the man's perspective a little bit more to feel more confident, or was it more natural thing by now?
It was natural. It was natural. It just felt like I was, um, as I said, like kind of accepting what had been pulling at me for almost a decade.
Yeah.
It was almost like letting go. It was a letting go. It's so strange because, my other moves have very much been, okay, how am I going to do this? What am I, it's been more of a push to like get this
Mm.
visa, learn this language, or like, okay, gosh, I live in this horrible apartment. It's raining all the time. I can't meet anyone. But yeah, I love it. It's like it's
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah, where you're kind of
Yeah.
pushing something that is like the vision that you thought that you wanted. And then actually it's like when I'm in the States and everything, it's like I keep getting green lights. I keep getting open
Mm.
doors when it comes to America. And I can only take that as like a sign, whether or not you're spiritual or whatever. It's like I do trust that that's um, just keep heading in the direction where the doors are opening.
Can you share some of those green lights so that just the listeners have a better understanding? Okay, what might be the signs that they should be looking for as well?
Yeah. So I'd say like if something flows where you don't have to push that hard, with like how sometimes people say, wow, you're so lucky that just happened for you.
Yeah.
It might appear like that, but sometimes, like, let me give you a specific example. So I mean, I'm sorry, but like the fact that my life ended up in a place where I was working for Americans, but I wasn't in America, but I worked for this amazing American company while being in Europe, but they bought the company I was working for. And like I develop relationships with America. I get to go there all the time for work, build yeah, great working relationships with my colleagues. And then I have this amazing manager who's supporting me and who's basically saying, like, let's do it. And she's being my support to help me move countries. I
Hmm.
mean, that for me is a green light. If there's
Yeah.
someone who's helping make something happen, or if there's an opportunity that comes up that you didn't have to force, I would say, like, or for example, I mean, we're going to chat about the relationship stuff, but let's
Hmm.
say, you open the app and you meet one person from the app, and then that guy ends up being the love of your life.
Yeah.
Um, that is a green light.
Yeah.
Versus, 5 years in a city. constantly trying to like meet people and date people and nothing's working out for
Yeah.
years on end, like that might be a sign that you're like trying to push something that's not meant to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it so resonates with me. So whenever I travel to the US, especially the Southwest, Arizona, I love as well, in
Ah.
California. Arizona is just, I don't know what it is about that state, but I feel it in my body. Like, yeah, I went to Sedona a couple times. Every time I go there, I'm like, boom, I'm here. And I'm just so grounded. And every time I'm in the US, I feel like I can breathe. There is space around me, there's space within me. I'm thinking bigger. And
Hmm.
this is
Hmm.
not what I'm experiencing most of the time in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And what is a green light for me as well is that people have often told me when they saw my reels and stories on Instagram, wow, your energy is different every time that I was in
Yes.
the US. So I'm like, okay, that's
Yes.
a good sign. And I can sense it inside of me because I'm more chatty, I'm friendlier, I'm more open, I'm more light. And so I
Hmm.
notice the shifts in my body, and this is what for me also a green sign.
I absolutely agree. I think that I look different and my energy is different. People often say that I'm glowing if
Yeah,
I'm, in that space. And I totally agree with you. And I think you can feel it in your body. You can feel a heaviness or a lightness. You can
yeah,
feel the frown lines or the smiles. Like it's
yeah,
pretty obvious if you take a moment to actually just look in the mirror because the energy totally shifts.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And also that part that you said, like you're trying to make it work, trying to make London happen.
Yeah.
I feel the same in the Netherlands where, I bought a house because I thought it's a good investment and it has turned out to be a very good investment. I did that a couple of years ago, but I keep pushing and trying so hard and it's not working out for me. And when you said about the dating, I've tried dating there as well, it never really worked out. And then when I moved to Rio last year, just before
Ah.
that
My
decision,
favorite cities, one of my
yes.
favorite cities.
Just before making that decision, I felt this pull already for a longer time. I want to spend some more time in Rio. But when my last relationship ended, I thought, okay, maybe now is the time. But I still had this belief of like, no, I have to be here if I want a relationship. And one of my friends was like,
Um,
Amanda, are you listening to what you're saying? Like, do you believe that you can only find a good relationship in The Hague, where you're living now? And how has that been working out for you? And I
yeah.
was like, oh yeah. And the moment I let that go, I was able to make that decision and move to Rio. Um, so I really understand what you say, like, okay, you're trying to make something happen and it feels more of a push. And the moment you
Mm,
can just accept, okay, maybe this is not for me, and let me just follow what pulls me naturally, things start to
mm,
become more,
mhm.
yeah,
I agree. And I've also adopted this theory in the last year of like um, something also my coach says, like be clear on the vision,
hmm,
but kind of light on the details or
on the how.
like open. Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, clear on the what, but really open and just super open to the how.
yeah,
So, for example, like, in my current period where it's like I don't exactly know when or how or what's going to happen with my visa and my transfer, and it's kind of just up in the air at the
yeah,
moment. It's like in that space of not knowing, there's endless possibilities.
yeah,
It's like realizing that if you just stay true to, you've got your vision, you've got that idea of what you are heading towards, and if that's true to your values and what you're wanting for your life, and if you're clear on that, then I do think you can create space for things to come in that will
yeah,
be right for you, that will be whether that's a person or a place or an opportunity, a job opportunity, whatever that is. It's like it's almost like get clear on really what you want and make sure you can, you know, you might have to do some exercises to like really get clear on what you want and not what other people want for you and not what society wants for you.
yeah.
But if you can get clear on that, I do believe things will start to happen and those green lights will start to happen.
I so agree with you. And I love what you said about the endless opportunities because, or possibilities. Often we're
Mm.
so stuck. This is the one way, and we're not getting there, so we get frustrated. But how often have we been surprised in life when it threw us nice curveballs also? Or things
Yeah.
that worked out nicely for us, or we got really unexpected opportunities. And these endless possibilities always exist. There are so many different timelines available to us. We're just not aware of them. And I really think if you can stay open to that possibility or that point of view, you can really relax in the now even if you're not knowing the how yet, but you just know the vision. And there's so many roads leading to that vision. You just have to spot them.
I totally agree, and I think that's one of the joys and the blessings of our current stage. Which I know I'm in a relationship and you're currently single, but I think when we are just one person, like responsible for ourselves, on a journey, it's like we don't have a family yet, or it's kind of like you've got the luxury of the
Yeah.
time and the space to be like, let's just see.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what fascinates a lot of my friends who have settled down is that they're like, wow, where are you now? What are you doing? But what's going to happen? Like they
Yeah.
want to know the details. They want
Yeah.
to know like, so what's the plan? What's the plan? And what's happening with your job? What's happening with your visa? And I'm like, look, I don't have the details, but I'm loving life. I'm happy. Like, because but that's a luxury. I do think that is a luxury for sure.
Yeah. Okay, before we dive into that topic of relationship, one more question. Okay, so how do you
Yeah.
stay grounded and relaxed when so many things are up in the air and you are traveling out of a suitcase? Because a lot of the listeners, they have so many things going in flux for them as well. So what are your tactics?
Oh my gosh, this is a really great question. So at the moment, I've already mentioned my coaches, and they kind of support like the mind, body, the meditation,
Hmm.
the spiritual, all that stuff. So they're incredible life coaches, and I do rely on them. So I work with them every few weeks where we'll have a session of like yoga or breath work or whatever, and it's virtually, it's on Zoom.
Hmm.
Um, and they give me kind of little tools in my toolbox to um, if I'm having a moment of like spiraling or getting like in my head, then I have the tools to, talk myself down from the stressful
Yeah.
moment. I can, whether that's meditation, breath work, like some yoga, some stretching, that type of thing, that really helps me personally.
Mhm.
Um, for others, it would be exercise. Like I know you're a runner,
Yeah.
and I've actually just signed on with this amazing trainer, personal trainer, and she's a trainer for like it's virtual, so you can do it as traveling, digital nomad, whatever. And oh my gosh, like she's gotten me back into the gym doing weights. I've never really been like understood the whole like weightlifting thing for women, but now I know like I want to build strength. I want to, get toned, like work on that. And so having like a health and fitness related activity you can do,
Mhm.
whether that's the gym or whatever it is you love to do, if you can just build that into your routine regularly, I can tell you one thing's for sure is at the moment when I'm living out of a suitcase, when I'm on a bed with weird pillows or like
Yeah.
on a couch or like whatever the situation is, like haven't had enough sleep, like it's like if I can just get out or into the gym or do a bit of exercise, my mental everything is better. Like everything feels better after either getting on a yoga mat or going
Yeah.
to the gym or whatever it is. So I just say like keep the physical routines going. I think if you don't have an idea of what's happening in your life, or if you're kind of a bit like all over the place, at least if you have some routine with your fitness, it can really, really help you mentally, I think.
I agree. Yeah. I wasn't able to run for a couple of weeks because I was in the process of freezing my egg cells.
Wow.
Wow, not being able to run normally is already like hard for me, but also with the hormones on top of it, I've really felt like I need my therapy. It's running is my
Yeah.
therapy. And to
Yeah.
have that physical routine, I think especially people like you and me and the listeners as well, we are so often in our head. And so
Yeah.
it's so good to have that physical habit locked in because might not be our natural thing to do when we're feeling bad because we want
Yeah.
to overthink it more. And so to have it
Yeah.
already built in as your habit, I think is really helpful. Yeah. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you're saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. One like some other just small things. I just say like also let go of control of some of like as much as I'm saying like try and have a routine with working out. Also, you got to be flexible. Like
Yeah.
at the moment, I'm kind of like just getting in time by myself or working out when I can, but I don't have that much time because I'm staying with friends. So it's like I'm just embracing wherever I am at the moment. So
Hmm.
right now I'm staying with my friend. She has a 10-month-old and a 4-year-old, and it's like family time, and I'm embracing that
Yeah.
because I haven't seen them, that family in a year, or like I might be in a hotel by myself, and it's like, okay, this is a bit lonely, but okay, embrace the me time. Like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of just like embracing wherever you're at, if you can, and
Yes.
see the positive in wherever you're at in that moment, because it's not going to be forever.
Yeah, so not having such a tight grip on how it should be, just embrace the flow of how it's going. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so now let's talk about relationships.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I am someone with a very global life, just like you, and I found it so hard to meet my guy, the love of my life, who is in that same kind of vibe, who's done personal growth stuff, who can meet me where I am. And so when I saw your reels and everything, I'm like, okay, I found someone who understands me, like in that area. And I know you found your love of your life at age 39.
Oh.
So can you share a little bit about that journey, including all the failed dates in London?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I feel like this could be a whole podcast. Maybe we'll have to do a
Yeah.
part two.
Yeah.
So where I'm at right now, I have a wonderful boyfriend. Hello, Harman. He is just like, it's weird. It's like people say, "Oh, how do you know they're the one?" And it's like, well, it's true what they say. When you know, I
Mm,
think. Um, Because you know what? I've been pursuing unavailable men in different forms, different types of unavailable for many, many years, if not decades. Um, but but what I realized is you've also got to, it takes two to tango, and you have to look in the mirror. And so I do know a lot of people who are single and they're victims about it, where they're like, "What's wrong with men? And what's wrong with this?" And blah blah blah. And it's like actually, if you've done the work or you start to like reflect on what might you be contributing, or might you be drawn to that kind of unavailable
yeah.
moment? Why are you accepting scraps essentially, or whatever it is that your
Yeah.
pattern might be? Because I think we do all have patterns. So I think it took me a bit of like, yeah, coaching, therapy to like identify, I guess, some of my patterns, some of my potential blockages, and dig into like where that all began. And I think I can tell you that it all began when I was 19, traveling the world. I fell in love with a Moroccan in the Sahara Desert, like literally the most unavailable person you could ever meet. And then we had a long distance relationship. That was my first long distance. I was
Yeah.
very young. I was very naive and romantic. And I think that's where it all began, of like chasing someone who's, not really available or kind of far away, or like this dreamy thing. And what I realized after years of doing some work recently is that what about me? What am I? I'm the unavailable one. I'm the one running around
Yeah.
I'm not the grounded one. I'm the one who's like hard to catch, hard to pin down. I'm
Yeah.
moving countries. So I realized that I was actually part of the problem,
Yeah.
uh, in a way. And so I had to then get clear on what it is I want, what I'm looking for in the next chapter. And I always thought, honestly, till I was about 38, that I didn't want children.
Hmm.
And I realized that was because I was with partners. I was with like one of my main exes, actually. He didn't want kids. He didn't want a family. He didn't even want to get married. And that was kind of going against my truth, but I didn't know it.
Yeah.
So I think like once I did all the work to realize what I want, like get clear on what I want in a relationship and what I really need and that truth, then I stripped away all the stuff that I thought I wanted, like, this vision that's probably tied to London and probably tied to like European stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and I realized, yeah, okay, I do want to build a family and I do want to build a life with someone and I do want that home. And it might not be like the traditional like picket fence, because maybe I'll never be that person. I
Yeah.
will always be an international kind of person and an adventurous person, but I think you can still build a home with someone who wants that. So I think I had to get clear on what I wanted, and then honestly, um, then I had good luck. And basically, like, I had quite a long distance relationship between Berlin and Switzerland in my 30s, for most of my 30s, or for at least like 7, 8 years.
Hmm.
So that was a situation where I was enjoying life and it was great, but I thought we were heading in a certain direction, and it's like I was too used to the comfort of the relationship to get out and to say no. Like, when he told me who he was, and when he told me what he couldn't give me and his limitations, like he didn't want to get married, he didn't want a family, I accepted that
Hmm.
because I didn't know that I wanted those things
Yeah.
necessarily. And I was like, it's fine, I'll just compromise. I was compromising the whole relationship. And like, no regrets. Like that relationship had to be part of my life. And I wish him all the best. But it's like I did technically like waste a lot of my
Yeah.
30s with like
Yeah.
chasing someone who was fully unavailable and who told me from the beginning that they were
Yeah.
pretty much, so it was like, why was I accepting that? Well, I ended up figuring that out. But then, so that was kind of a lot of my 30s. And then in London, I was just having really bad luck on the apps.
Mm.
I kept kind of connecting with guys that would be obsessed with me and then they would disappear or they
Oh
would
yeah.
like, yeah, it was, and they were not young. They were not babies. They were like late 30s, early to mid 40s, like seem to know what they want, seem to have themselves together. But no, I guess, look, in the end, like they just weren't that into me or they had other things going and they chose another path. But it felt like rejection after rejection.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. I resonate with that too. Yeah. It's hard.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so then you met Harman. So tell me
Yes.
that story.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, it's so great because I'd actually said, like, okay, I've had all these like stupid, I mean, it was so disheartening, the dating scene in London. And I thought, okay, let me have a break. I'm getting off the apps. And then I was traveling a lot for work last year. And we were shooting some videos. I was producing some videos in Palo Alto in the Bay Area. And my colleague and friend, she said to me, why don't you just turn on the apps? Like,
Hmm.
see what's out there. And I thought, number one, no, because I'm too busy. I don't have time to meet anyone. Like we're shooting like 3 shoots in a week. Like I don't even have time to sleep this week. Like how can I have time to meet someone? But also I don't want another long distance relationship, I said.
Yeah.
Because I've had all these failed long distance relationships. It's very triggering for me. Like I don't want that again. I can't turn on the app in America because I at that point I wasn't moving to America.
Yeah.
So I just thought, no, I don't want another long distance. No. But then somehow I thought, oh, maybe I was bored or something, and I turned it on. I turned on Hinge. Shout out to Hinge. Um, and that was the same app that I'd been using in the UK. And my God, like I got so many roses. I got so many messages. I must have, like, every morning I was waking up to like 50 likes on messages, like way more. In the UK,
Wow.
in London, it was like a few a day, and here it was like so many that I couldn't even look at them all.
Wow.
Um, I know. And then one guy, I thought, oh, he looks nice because he just looked very like calm and like grounded. And he had one picture doing yoga, and I was like, oh wow, like I've been doing yoga for like 20 years, and I've never met a guy who like also I've never dated someone who also likes it.
Hmm.
Uh, and I saw that one picture where he was in Morocco, and I'm like, oh, Morocco, like he travels as well. And I can't actually remember much about his profile or I don't have the app anymore, obviously, so I can't see what he wrote, but
Hmm.
it just seemed really down to earth and really lovely. And like he knew what he was looking for, and he had marked like he's looking for a life partner or a long-term relationship. Like it didn't say like, I don't know,
Yeah.
or like,
Yes.
it was clear that he wants a particular thing. And it said that he like didn't smoke and like certain things. And I was like, yes, like nice. And like likes, outdoors, likes travel, whatever, loves, he had a picture of his dog, maybe. I love dogs. Like it was just ticking all the boxes. And then
Mhm.
basically, we started messaging, but I couldn't meet him on that trip. That was August last year. And he said, look, let's get each other's number. And then if like when you come back again next time, just message me and we could maybe meet, like go on a date. And so the next time I was back in November, I did message him and we met up and we had this like 10-hour first date. It
Wow.
was we were meeting for coffee, but he said, do you want to do something? Like you're visiting, do you want to go on a little road trip? And I thought, road trip, like that could technically be very dangerous. Like it's America. Like getting in a stranger's car, like my parents would hate me. Um, but I don't know, we met for coffee first just to sense the vibe, and it was really like I got such a good vibe. And then he drove us down to Santa Cruz, and we went like down to the coast, and we had this day like, and then we ended up having dinner, and it was so nice. But
Oh,
I didn't think I didn't know if there was any chemistry. I thought, oh, he's so
right.
nice, but he didn't try and hold my hand or kiss me or any physical stuff. And I thought, I'm used to these guys in London who would like want to do everything like very quickly.
Yeah.
And
Can I ask you something? Did you feel physically attracted to him? Did you feel the chemistry from your side
so
on that first date?
on the first date, no, I'm going to tell you,
Yeah.
like, and you don't always have to. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
my
know. Yeah.
big tip is like give them a chance. Give them a chance because I thought he was very handsome, very lovely, but I didn't feel that spark. And we had a great day. But then I have to admit, on the drive home, he was dropping me back to my hotel and we were kind of just, spent all day together and there was a bit of banter. I felt like it was a bit of flirting, but then he didn't kiss me goodnight. And I thought, okay, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And then, and then what happened was, he messaged me saying like pretty much maybe that night or the next day saying, hey, great, I had a great time. I'd love to see you again. When can I see you again? Okay, so ladies, like they have to do the follow up. Like, don't, if they're waiting a week or 2 weeks, like that's not,
Yeah.
they're not interested. Like they should follow up straight away, I believe.
Yeah.
And he followed up and I rejected him. I said, oh, actually, it was great to meet you, but like, I didn't know if there was any, I didn't know if you're interested. I'm surprised to hear from you again. And also,
Uh-huh.
I don't want a long distance relationship. So to be honest, I don't really know why like I went on the date because I don't want a long distance. And he wrote back so sweet. He was like, "Oh, dang it. I don't know. I thought I wanted to kiss you, but then I was too shy. I'm sorry about that. I had a great time. I'd love to see you again. Like, I know you don't want long distance, but you never know what could happen." He said, "You never know what could happen." And I remember thinking, that's such a nice open way to think. And I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? I should give him a chance. And I did. And the second date, it was like totally different. There was such vibe and we had a great kiss. And it was just like, it was on. From that point, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, wow. Because I said, like, I stated my needs. I said, look, this is my background with long distance. I'm a bit worried. I'm a bit scared. And he said, no, like, he obviously knew that I was worried about that. And so then he made his intentions clear. And from that point, it was just like on.
Oh, that is so nice. That's such a cool story. Have your parents met him already?
So they haven't, but we've had some calls, like
Okay.
some calls, and it's really sweet actually. My dad, oh my God, I love my dad. He like slid into his DMs on Instagram. So he followed him and then he's like chatting to him. He sends him like videos all the time. They're just chatting about stuff and I said, Dad, like this was okay. So basically, like fast forward, I went back to the US a few times for work, like in January, and then I'd been going back there.
Mhm.
And I knew that I would be moving. So I'm like, great, like once I move, then we can start dating properly. And now we're kind of in this long distance thing because I'm waiting to move. But I have no fear. I just know with this guy, like that it's different to the last ones because it's like I know that we're heading in the right direction. I know that we have the same goals. He doesn't make me wonder. He doesn't make me stress or like,
Yeah.
oh, what is he thinking? It's like there's no question that this is like my person. So I'm very much like in a good long distance relationship because there's a difference. Like if you're in a relationship, a long distance it has no goal, it has no end date.
Yeah.
That's where it's like red flags. But this is totally different. So, but just coming back to my dad, like back when it was like early days of dating, like earlier in the year, he like he saw him like because I tagged him in a post or something, and he decided to follow him and then DM him. And I said, Dad, like, oh my gosh, you didn't ask me like if you could chat to him. Like I said, did you message Harman? He goes, I did. Kiss, kiss. You're welcome. But the good thing is that this guy, he's not a commitment phobe like many people. So therefore, when the dad messages him, he loves it. He's not scared
Uh,
by that.
yeah. Oh, that is amazing. That's really nice to hear. Does he have any single friends?
Okay, so honestly, like, oh my gosh, I did mention that to him. I was like, all your friends, but the thing is, like, I need to double check. But basically, I think a lot of his friends are settled down.
Mm,
But there's a bunch that are like going through, like they've already been married before. So they might have like been going through like divorce or something. So I'll report back. I'll report
okay,
back.
great. Thanks. Okay, and it was so nice chatting with you. I feel like we can chat for more hours. I think there's so much more to cover still. About
Yeah.
global life and like taking big leaps and relationships and just finding your way and starting next chapters. So I would love to speak again with you, maybe in a couple months. Who knows how long it's going to take when the next chapter is really starting for you and you're on the other side and you can share how it's going for you then. But I just want to thank you for this really open conversation because I think we need to talk more about these topics where, as expats, we stay on the service and we show, what is going well, but we don't always show the more challenging sides of it and the questions that we deal with on our own and the things that come up for us.
Yeah.
With relationships, with a wish for children or not. And yeah, so I'm really happy that you got to speak so open about this. So thank you.
Yeah, yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. And I think that, look, we could talk for hours because there is so much to say about like this relationship versus my past ones, or like, you know, finding love later in life,
Yeah.
it's just so many things. So I think like I'd love to chat again for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Let's chat about that for sure. Yeah. Thank you so much. And good luck with your next chapter. I cannot wait to see everything on Instagram and see how it's going for you.
Thank you so much. It was great chatting.